Chris, you could be a general manager in this league. I'm going to place you in the position of being a general manager. You have a coaching vacancy. You have a team that has to be rebuilt. You look out on the field of possible candidates.
Who are you talking about, Wood? Who are you talking about, by chance?
Because it's different. I'm going to give you a few answers. Number one, if I'm New Orleans or Orlando, I'm looking at Tom Thibodeau, and they are looking at Tom Thibodeau. I mean, I think he's a tremendous coach. One of the best five in the league, in my opinion. And so one of those teams, like Thibodeau maximizes his team's potential. Okay, he gets them, and I believe, as far as a team can go. So I think if he goes to Orlando, they got some good young talent. I think they could fight for and maybe make the Eastern Conference 7th, 8th seed next year. If he goes to New Orleans, I think he can get them, if they're healthy, to, maybe make the playoffs in the West. Let's face it, they wouldn't have made it this year if it wasn't for Oklahoma City being injured. But I think if Thibodeau goes there, maybe a Dallas falls out or something like that. But I think he can get New Orleans into the playoffs. Now, at Denver, I'm going to be honest with you. If I'm Denver, I'm keeping Melvin Hunt. And, I mean, he did a good, solid job, at the end of the season. But it goes beyond that. He's a guy that, a lot of people view as could be a potential head coach, a good head coach in this league. I think he did a good job when he got the chance. The players like him, which isn't always a blessing, but still, they do. Sometimes it can be. And they like him, and I think they'll play for him. But this is the thing. Denver's not going to be that good next year no matter what. Part of it is that they're just in the tough Western Conference. And let's face it, look at the teams at the top. Golden State's not going anywhere. Oklahoma, at least until Durant and Westbrook leave, if they do, they're not going anywhere. Portland now, they could lose LaMarcus Aldridge, so they could fall out. That's a spot, but maybe New Orleans gets in there. Houston's going to still be good. Memphis is still going to be good. You never can count out the Spurs. Dallas will still be fighting at least for a playoff spot. So my point is, I think part of Denver's problem is that they're in the West. And you got some good young players, obviously, Ty Lawson and so on and so forth. But I'm thinking, look, why bring in a coach that you're going to have to pay a ton of money, whether it's a Scott Brooks or Mike D'Antoni, whoever it might be? Why bring in a coach you're going to have to pay a ton of money to who is not getting you to the playoffs next year? I don't care who it is. He's not getting you into the playoffs next year unless there's just a host of injuries to the top teams. And so I think you go with a young coach like Melvin Hunt. You don't have to pay him as much as some of these bigger name guys. And, see what he can do. He may turn out to be another very good head coach in this league. But my point is just that I'm sorry, I'm not paying a ton of money for a guy that's probably, 90% sure he's not getting me into the playoffs.
Chris Broussard's appearance on the show brought to you by the Blake Street Tavern, where you can watch all those Nuggets losses next year. 3 bars under one roof. They've got 18,000 square feet, 60 HD TVs. It's located just a couple of blocks north of Coors Field. Denver's best sports bar for 3 years in a row, as proclaimed by Westward.